You're tuned in to KEMPIRE Radio.
All right, everybody. We have the pleasure of interviewing someone that's really great in R&B. He's returning with his 6th studio album, correct?
6.
Tree of Life. Lyfe Jennings is here on KEMPIRE Radio for the very first time, surprisingly. Welcome to the show. What's going on?
Thank you, man. We're grinding, man. We did this album together for y'all.
Definitely. Let's talk about the Tree of Life. Why that title? Of course, with your name, but why that specific title?
Well, I guess in big part, I just see society is so focused on physical things. And I think that the Tree of Life doesn't even necessarily revolve around money like everybody think. It revolves around the people in your life. That's your real roots. That's your full tree structure.
Can you explain the cover art? Because the cover art was just released for the project, which is coming out in June. Can you explain a little bit about the cover art? Why you decided, to use that specific type of cover art?
Well, I work actually with a photographer. What's the photographer's name again? Huh? Baki. He's actually Asian photographer. We worked together, came up with the concept of the people make up the tree. So that's why you see the whole tree.
Yeah. The
Tree of Life, the tree of the people that's close to you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
How, this is your 6th studio album. There was a point in your career where, they said you were retiring from music and things like that. What motivated you to stay in the business and produce, this new project?
I just think my voice is needed, man. I don't think there's nobody out here like me. You get a lot of cats that say, hey, you remind you of Lyfe Jennings and this person, but none of them are really taking responsibility for the socioeconomic things that need the socioeconomic message, let me say. Nobody's doing that, so.
Yeah, so that motivates you to come back.
Yeah, they just gonna need me until they don't need me.
How has the music evolved, compared to your first, your debut album? How has the music come, to where it is today with Tree of Life?
I think for me, man, how I make my music better is saying more by saying less. I think I'm trying to use simpler words, but are just so powerful in and of themselves that I don't need 30 words in that one spot. Yeah.
Pretty is the new single, which we love on the show. It's talking about, women's self-esteem and, motivating women. How else are you addressing other topics like Eric Garner or Baltimore? That's in the news lately. Are you addressing that on the Tree of Life?
I think, not verbatim, but, I got songs like People, where we talk about different things. Like some of the lyrics say, have more than what you show, speak less than what you know. If you ain't got nothing good to say, then keep your mouth closed. Like stuff like that indirectly point to all of those situations.
What are some of your favorite tracks from the Tree of Life?
Definitely that song, People. It's one of my favorite tracks. There's another track on there called We Are Not the Same. Just the way these guys just floss and all this stuff and want to be seen. We're not the same as that. Yeah. We can do our stuff quietly. Another great song on the album is called I Love You. It's just a throwback, just up-tempo and just, expressing to a woman how you feel, the realness of how you feel.
Yeah. You did a lot of writing and producing this time around. Why is that? Was there a specific reason that you said, I'm going to do the majority of the producing for this project?
I've always actually done the majority of producing for my projects because I feel like that I have to have my hands on it. It have to be delivered in the right way, how I visualized it.
Yeah. You also talked about, reinvention. They're always saying, these different artists have to reinvent themselves to survive, especially with R&B music. Why did you decide, I don't need to reinvent? You can't reinvent the truth.
I guess just because you can't. Like, it's always been working for me. I've been so blessed to be able to continue touring and doing all these other things for 11 years now. And I've been doing it the same way. Why change something that's working?
Definitely. What is your truth, and how has that truth changed over the last few years? You've been in the business for quite some time now.
Yeah, my truth, again, I think it's always been the same, but I think it's condensed itself. And that condensation came about with the understanding that everything that I do is a product of what I've done. This physical world is created by the mental world. That's why they say that the world here is a mirror image of the world above it, because the world above it is, the mental plane. And so in that, I've just been taking responsibility for everything that go wrong in my life and not pointing any fingers, because I can't solve it by pointing fingers. I can use that energy to really solve it here.
Definitely. It sounds like the Tree of Life is a very spiritual type of album. It's touching on a lot of different areas, for you personally. It's coming out on June 23rd. Can we expect collaborations on the project, more videos and things like that?
You can definitely expect collaborations and videos. 2 collaborations we finished right now is Demetria McKinney. She's on a song called Talking About Love. Very, very dope artist. She's a new artist. Yeah. Algebra, who's not a new artist, but some people might not be familiar with her. But we got a song on there that We're Not the Same joint. She's my favorite joint.
Okay.
She killed that. Yeah.
Wow, it's dope.
I'm going to shoot a video to the one me and Algebra got to.
It's dope. Algebra's definitely dope. And Demetria as well. Because we saw Demetria, the audience isn't familiar with her. They're familiar with her on the reality show The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Right. Need that cross-promotion. Need that.
Definitely. A lot of artists are releasing their music independently. But why did you decide for this project you wanted to release it with a major label?
Because another thing that I understand is that people are good at what they do. Like, I'm good at writing and doing music, but I'm not going to be good at painting a house. So I don't need to be trying to live in a house and paint a house and build a stove and all that when people have spent their whole life refining their craft with that. So I just want to really put everything in its proper place. These guys took a long time to develop this skill, and I think it would be an injustice of me to even think that I could do it better than them.
It's good. Everyone, and I asked this question of all the R&B artists as they come through here on the show. The state of R&B, the R&B is not what it used to be when it comes to the popularity. What are your thoughts on the state of R&B and where it's going?
I think, the young cats is always going to reinvent stuff for better or for worse. And I think that we can't really, hate on them or be like, this is wrong and this is right, because I think in our age we recreated, what we had too. So as far as the state of R&B, I think the creational part of it is cool. I think that people get out of hand with making that the greatest portion of what they're giving the listeners on the radio, because that might be, getting them paid for the little commercials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're not talking about just a check. We're talking about the mental stability of our culture. So
Definitely. Who are some of the artists that you listen to that inspire you, that inspire the Tree of Life?
Like that Drake, very, very lyrical, love the stuff. When I still listen, the old stuff like Erykah Badu, the Anthony Hamilton cat is a really dope cat to me. But my inspirations really just come from, again, the people around me, my own personal Tree of Life, my family.
Because you mentioned that you do a lot of the songwriting and the producing of your records. What is that process like? What inspires you, and how has that changed over the last few years? As you started writing, many years ago with your first album, as opposed to how you write and produce now.
It's always been the same. Sometime it'll come, I just get an idea in the middle of the night, and I get up and go down and put it together. Sometime I see somebody close to me go through something, and then I write about that, or something happened with me, and I personally write about that experience. So I don't try to limit it. I don't put it in a box how I get it, as long as I get it.
Well, you get it. One great question I love to ask, because a lot of interviewers are going to ask you the same questions over and over again, and I'm sure that you get tired of that. What's the one question you get tired of being asked, and what is the question you wish people would ask you?
One question I get tired of getting asked about my jail situation. That is what it is. I've been there. Yes, you caught me. I've been there.
You caught me.
The one question that I wish that they would ask, I've been asked this question a couple times, but I like when they ask me what kind of woman would I want to have in my life. I think because then I can put that message out there, so a woman that is that, she would gravitate towards me, and also women that aren't for me, then they're going to know, no, I'm not for them.
So you don't have to answer the question, since this is a question you like to be asked.
Yeah, I like women that self-sustain. I like confident women that self-sustain, that have something to lose, that have their own thing going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta have your own life, because my life is busy. So if you just sitting around and you want all my time, that's not going to happen.
Do you find that difficult to find?
Every time, I hear that in my relationship all the time. You just don't got time for me. But yeah, this is how I create. This is how I create for my family. So I'm not stopping anytime soon.
Definitely. The Tree of Life is coming June 23rd, correct?
Right.
We are excited about it. We love this single, Pretty Is. If it's if those that are listening should definitely go out and get it. What else do you want your fans to know before we let you go?
I mean, always know that this is a whole album. If you don't like Pretty Ends, if you don't like the next single, I think that my track record speak for itself, man. When you get this album, there's going to be several songs on it that's going to be definitely for you. So again, don't just try to judge a single because Lyfe Jennings is more than a single. It's a whole album. You know, stuff that people don't make no more. People only make singles these days.
Yeah.
We make whole albums.
Yeah, definitely. Lyfe Jennings here on KEMPIRE Radio for the very first time. Thank you so much for taking the time out.
Thank you, boss.
This is a KEMPIRE Radio exclusive. Be sure to get Lyfe Jennings' new album, Tree of Life, in stores now.